Happy Friday, everybody. Jacob Morris here, joined by a very special guest, former Arkansas Razorback Jordan Walsh, drafted in the second round by the Boston Celtics last season, currently playing with the Maine Celtics. Jordan, thanks so much for joining us. What's the transition been like? 19 years old, you moved from Arkansas to Maine. How's it all gone figuring out how to play professional basketball up in the Northeast?
Yeah, it's definitely has challenges, definitely has ups and downs for sure. But it's crazy to think about like a year and a half ago, I was in high school. So and now I'm here. So it's kind of crazy. It's been moving on. It's been moving fast, but because I have the right people around me and the right staff, it makes this transition so much easier.
A heck of a transition for sure. What's it been like adjusting to the speed of the game at the professional level? Obviously, you played, at Arkansas against the best of the best in college, but now up in the G League playing professional basketball. What's that adjustment process been like for you?
Yeah, it's different. Now it's, against professionals. The speed of the game is different. The change of pace is way quicker. But I feel like playing at Arkansas with under a coach like Coach Muss, he's prepared us for the NBA game a lot more than people will give him credit for. Um, I feel like he did a great job with not just me, but AB and Nick and also Ricky and even guys before that like Moses and Jalen's going to be playing tonight. But so he's definitely had a track record of putting guys in the right place and having them succeed over long periods of time. So obviously got to give thanks to Arkansas and him, but the transition's been smooth and the game's feeling a little bit easier because I have that experience.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple pro hogs there. What's that been like to move from the college level to now you're playing alongside of a whole lot of Arkansas players at the professional level in the NBA and in the G League?
I mean, I feel like it speaks, Arkansas and how they develop guys, of course, but to be able to talk to those guys, even before I started my season at Arkansas, I was talking to Moses, and we are talking about what it takes to get there and how you do that. And when you get there, what is it like? And so to have that guy that I kind of like leaned on um, for support, to have him finally be alongside me and not like above me like he was last year when I was in college, it makes for even better connection because now I've seen what the NBA life is about. I've seen what the G League life is about, and he's seen both of those. So, for me to be able to lean on him and get a little bit more support for now we're, almost colleagues, it's very special, very important.
I like the designation of colleagues there between you and Moses. But moving to on the basketball court, obviously defense has been a big part of your game for a long time now. And I was reading a quote from Coach Missoula where he stressed to you impacting the game in more ways than just scoring. What does that look like to you as you get more comfortable, being a defensive player potentially in the NBA?
For sure. And I feel like that speaks to, my versatility. Um, I think that, me being able to be a guy who doesn't need plays drawn up for him or anything like that to score or get a rhythm, I feel like that will help, the Celtics, especially, when they have guys like Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown and Drew and KP and all them. So I feel like that's an important role player spot that I can fill perfectly. And I feel like it's meant for me to be in that role. And obviously coming down to the G is, preparation for that. And so I definitely don't take it lightly. I definitely take it serious and in a way that, I want to get better here. It's not a punishment. So definitely excited for the future. And I hope that, I'll be able to fill that role and help the team in that way.
You mentioned a couple of guys in the Celtics organization, obviously. And I remember a couple months ago, something came across my feed where it was Jason Tatum talking about you saying, he does all the little things, right? And that he's been in your shoes as a 19-year-old in the NBA. What does it mean to have guys like that within the whole entire Celtics organization that you can look up to as mentors and to help you on and off the court?
Oh, for sure. It's always good to have like your team leaders, and not only just your team leader, but a guy who's top 10 players in the world right now. Um, say that about you. And, for him to recognize, a guy like me who was like a second round pick, recognize me as, a guy who's doing the right things, who's working hard, who's, who's gonna turn out well, or hopefully that he believes in me. It speaks a lot towards, the dedication and like the work that I've been putting in so far. And I hope that, when I get a chance to play alongside those guys, that they'll see that, the work really did come to fruition. I was working hard to be able to, for that chance, and hoping that chance comes, I'll be ready.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you've been asked this before, but have you had your kind of welcome to the NBA moment yet or anything of the sort?
Um, I don't think I have, not yet. I mean, one you could say I think it was the first day I got to, or second day. I know it was the first week I got to Boston. I'm super competitive, so I wanted to play one on one with everybody. And so, me being a defender, I thought that it'd be easier for me to get stops, but I was playing in ones against Peyton Pritchard and Jalen Brown, and I think I lost every single spot. I don't think I won a spot. I think they were just killing me with the angles they were taking and the shots they were making, and it was kind of okay, yeah, you want to be a defender in this league? Okay, well you're gonna have to guard people like this. Even Peyton Pritchard, a guy who gets playing time, who's a good role player, and then Jalen Brown, who's an all-star. And it's like, okay, those are two ends of the spectrum, and I have to be able to guard both of them successfully. So, it definitely gave me perspective on the game and the league for sure.
Yeah, I remember seeing workout videos in the summer, and it's like you said, Jalen Brown, Peyton Pritchard, all the above. That had to be an eye-opening experience for you. It's like you said, you're playing high school ball a year and a half ago, and all of a sudden you're matching up one-on-one against guys like that in workouts.
It was like I said, it was like an eye opener for me. I started to look at those guys, kind of like teammates and guys that I want to attack, in the workouts. Like, 'cause at the same time, like I need to prove myself in some type of way. And so it became to look at those guys in training camp as like competition. And so every chance that I could get to guard them or go at them, I would take that opportunity. I would tell Joe, like, Joe, let me get a chance. Like, I'm gonna guard. Let me play like whatever it was. I wanted to go up against those guys, even open runs or organized practices. I knew that if I wanted to get to where I wanted to be at, I had to be able to guard these guys and score on these guys, so that eventually I can get to that level that they're at. So that's kind of like the mentality I went in with going into training camp and summer workouts and all that.
Yeah, now out of training camp and summer workouts, you've been primarily playing with the Maine Celtics in the G League, like we talked about. What does it say about you as a player that, like you talked about, you're willing to kind of embrace that grind, a little bit less flashy, but still putting up numbers and improving game to game in the G League?
I would hope that it shows people that I'm patient but yet I'm a hard worker. I feel like it takes a certain type of person to go down to the G League and really focus on just basketball and be thankful for the opportunity to have a chance to play instead of if I was in Boston sitting on the bench watching every game and just competing in practices and working out. I feel like to kind of like humble yourself enough to go down here and know that okay, yeah, this ain't Boston, but this is a place that you need to grow. Um, that's still good for you. Like it's not bad or anything like that. It's still a place that's good for you. That's made that other people have been through, like Sam and Luke. I talked to them before I came down here. I would always ask them questions about what the G League was like, and they're like, it's not Boston, but if you go there with the right mentality and you go there with the right focus, and you can come out and be a star. And that's kind of like what Sam is now and what Luke have done. So I'm just kind of following in that path, hoping to get to that level.
You move all the way up to Maine from Arkansas. Had you been there before? Was it your first time? What's that experience been like adjusting to life all the way up there in the Northeast?
It's my first time. It's very cold. It snows too much. I don't like the cold. I don't like snow. So that's way different for me. But the food out here is awesome. The people are nice, but it's just the weather. The weather kind of throws me off a little bit. But besides that, it's a good city, and it's more than what I thought it was before coming here, for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably gonna snow a whole lot more, unfortunately. What about the food? Have you had lobster up there? Have you had all the food that Maine can offer?
I have had lobster a lot, a couple times. One of my teammates just asked me if I wanted a lobster roll, actually, and of course I'm gonna tell him yes. But there's a couple good spots out here, and I think they say lobster rolls in Maine are the best in the world. So I've definitely had my fill of lobster rolls for sure.
What about road trip spots? Obviously, you've traveled a fair amount here so far this season. Is there a spot, a city that stands out above the rest in terms of places you guys have played?
So my people are from DC originally. So when we go to DC to play Go Go, that was a good trip. I had a lot of people there, a lot of family at the game. Good city. I got to go eat, with my agent and my family. So That's probably my favorite destination so far.
How about players you played against that stick out maybe as a competitor? Obviously, you played against the best of the best at Arkansas. Now you're at the professional level. Are there any players that stick out from a standpoint of man? It's been pretty awesome to get a chance to compete against these guys.
For sure, there's been a couple guys. I would say more of my teammates, us competing against each other, whether it's in practice or in games or whatever it is. But the competitive nature that we have, with each other and with the staff, playing one-on-one after practice, doing stuff like that. I feel like that's what makes us better. That makes everybody better. That makes for a better environment for winning. And so I hope that continues. Hopefully, I'll be able to see these guys down along the road after this season. But first of all, we need to get this. We need to showcase. We need to get some wins, and hopefully, we end the season off right.
Yeah, what's your focus here as you kind of look towards the next couple of months? Obviously, it's one game at a time, but what for you is the priority? What for the team is the priority as you move towards these next couple of weeks and months?
I think the priority, and I think everybody would agree with me when I say it's just winning the next game in front of us. And obviously, some people say you're not supposed to look ahead. Some people say you are, but I think for us, it's all about winning the next game and winning the game after that. And that's kind of like the mentality we go in with every single game. There's been a couple games where we have a big lead and we give it up, or down low, and then we fight all the way back, and then we're just not quite there enough to get over that edge to get the win. And so since we've been on the top and bottom and the end of the spectrum, front and back end of the spectrum, we know that it takes a lot of grit to get that win. And so that's been our focus for sure. Just getting over that hump, whatever it is, if it's getting over ourselves or it's getting over a deficit, whatever it is, to get over that and win the game for sure.
Absolutely. And wrapping up here, have you had a chance to watch Arkansas much? Duke game, Purdue, anything? All the way up there in Maine. Have you watched the team this year?
Oh, for sure. It's a really big game whenever my college plays somebody else's college as a part of that organization. So when we played Stanford, that was an amazing game. I loved that one. I got to brag about that. When we beat Duke, I was bragging. I texted Jason Tatum. I was like, "You know what time it is." A couple other guys. So I'm definitely I'm tapped in on the season. Enjoying watching. I'm excited for March. Can't wait to see where we go this year. But I do be talking trash, so Arkansas, I need y'all to hold it down for me, for sure.
Yeah, they got to take care of you in that regard. What have you seen from a couple of the guys that you played with, the guys that are still on the team? This year playing, it's been, an all over the place season. But what have you seen from them in terms of continuing on here?
I feel like the most of our guys have like a willingness to win and dedication to that. Obviously, we go about it different ways. Everybody has different roles, but I feel like everybody's kind of like buying into their role the right way and just enough to help us win. And some guys are even trying to do a little bit more, which is a good thing, on the defensive end. So I'm super happy for those guys, super proud, and I hope that they get the recognition that they deserve for how they're playing. But they all know that we want to win the games. They all know that we want to showcase and show out for everybody. So they all know that's the focus, and the coaches know that, and they've all bought in on that. So that's definitely the goal for this year. The goal is to win it all, but if we don't have that chance, if we can just get a chance and get there to get these guys some exposure, then that would be good enough for them. I'm pretty sure.
We know Coach Muss always has the team rounded into form come March. Jordan, thanks so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it.